So in this video, I'm gonna break down how I make $10,000 a day. I don't make this every single day. There is some ups and downs, so I will be transparent, but pretty cool title as well. So as you see right here, April 1st, we made 10.8K. Yesterday, April 2nd, we made 8.3, actually a little bit more yesterday. Because we have a few $100 on a different processor. But about $10,000 a day to start off this month, which is not too shabby. So I'm gonna break down how we do that in this video, and this will apply to you, how you can make more money, how you can sign more clients, and do that consistently. All right, consistency is a big thing. I know a lot of people I talk to, they struggle with inconsistency, where they, as far as like lead gen goes, they book like 2 calls a month, 5 calls a month, or it's crazy up and down. So I'm gonna break down exactly how we do this and how we do this consistently. So I'll start this with a story. So I was talking to an online coach the other day, and her thing was basically, hey, she's making decent money, making about 20, 25K a month. So nothing too crazy, but some sort of income, which is good. And her thing was, she was very fully reliant on referrals, fully. So all of her clients came from word of mouth and referrals, which, on one hand is a very good thing in that it tells you, hey, obviously we're good at what we do. Clients like us, we're delivering results, and they're referring other people to us, which is definitely something that you want. You definitely want to have that. But her goal is to scale to 50 to 80K a month. To get there, it's gonna be impossible to just do that with referrals. It's very, very hard. And so she would, the big thing she was looking for is an actual client acquisition system, or a real, predictable, consistent system where you can convert strangers into paying clients and do that every single day. This is a big thing that most people, everyone wants, but almost no one knows how to get there. So I'm gonna break down in this video what we do. All right, so first things first, what is the actual system? All right, so a system basically has inputs. Inputs are the thing that go into the system. So for example, for a chef, this would be their ingredients. Their ingredients are the inputs. All right, then these inputs basically go into processes. All right, processes. So this is your standard operating procedures, your processes that the inputs go through. All right, so for a chef, this would be their instructions. All right, I set the oven to 400 degrees. I chop the onions like this. Their exact process. I don't know. I'm not a very good chef. My wife is much better at than me, but the processes. And then once you go through all the processes you have, then you get the outputs. All right, outputs for a chef. Again, it would be the actual meal, the finished meal, the finished product that you can actually eat and serve to someone. All right, and then last part of the system, which is crucially important, most people don't have this, is feedback. All right, so feedback, for example, again, in this scenario, would be maybe a review from the customer at the restaurant. Something like that would be an example of feedback. All right, but make this for client acquisition, making it, applying to actual business. The feedback is metrics. All right, the feedback is metrics as far as close rate, show rate, appointment booking rate, things like that are measurable and basically tell you how effective a system is. So that's kind of a breakdown of a system: inputs, processes, outputs, and feedback. And so the thing is, when you have a system, you have a system when you can simply do more inputs and get more outputs. It's predictable, it's consistent. Or if you don't know how to do that, if you can't simply reverse engineer, okay, if I want to make 100K a month, I just need to do this many inputs. If you can't do that, you don't have a real system. All right, that's the thing that most people, they think they have, oh yeah, I have a system. I post some content. I send some messages sometimes. I'll run some ads, here and there. They have no real system because it's not predictable, it's not consistent. So that's a big thing right there, is you need consistency. All right, so how do we get there? How do we get consistency? Well, it's all founded on something called stimulus and response. So stimulus and response. This is the first principles of client acquisition. Basically, what this is you have a stimuli. Stimuli could be an outbound message, could be a piece of content, could be an ad that you run, anything that you're putting in front of prospects in hopes they take the next step towards becoming a client. All right, so that could be anything is a stimulus. The response is what the response that the prospect takes. So they could click your ad, they could keep on scrolling, they could comment, oh, you're a scammer, they could do whatever. There's a bunch of responses that could take place. All right, and so that's stimuli and response. And so basically what's happening is you probably have some stimuli you're putting out, you're probably doing some content, maybe some messages, maybe some ads, something. You're probably doing something, or at least I hope. And the thing is the responses you're getting are just probably not the results that you want, or the responses that you want. All right, so that's the thing. You just have, if you realize like this is an equation, there's stimuli and there's response. All right, so if you're not getting the responses you want, you're just putting the wrong stimuli out there. Like it really is that simple. Like a lot of people, like they tell me, oh, well, I already tried outreach. I already tried, meta ads. It didn't work for me. It's like, do you really think you're that special of a snowflake where it just doesn't work for you? Because I don't know. I don't know. Like, well, it's an excuse that your mind makes up because it's the easier route out. Or the hard path is facing, hey, I'm just doing it wrong and I have to fix the problem and learn how to actually do it right. Like figure out, well, what is the good stimulus that results in the good responses that we want. That's the truth. So with that said, like that's all you need to do is find the stimuli that actually works. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get more people clicking on your ad, more people booking calls, more people showing up, more people whipping out their credit cards and paying you money. Like that is the facts. Like that's all there is to it, stimuli and response. Now, how you get there is going to be through the scientific method. All right, so the scientific method. So before you snooze, you're like, I learned this in school, blah, blah, blah. Use this and apply it to business. Like literally, this has made me so much money. It's insane. Like this is used for everything. Like it's a time age principle. It's gotten people, on the moon, obviously. Like it's done everything. So here's how you apply it to business. All right, let's say you're running an ad, for example. All right, so with the ad, you want to launch the ad. That's your hypothesis. That's your test. You're running the step one. And then step two is you want to observe results. All right, and it's very crucial for this that you allow time for a good sample size. All right, this is the thing that most people don't do. All right, they spend $10 on ads and then they freak out. They're like, oh, well, no one clicked. No one's booking a call. It's not working. Let me change everything. They don't understand statistics. So you need to allow for a good sample size. Like this is critical. You must be patient. You must allow for a good sample size. This applies to everything. It applies to if you're doing outreach. You can't just send 10 messages or even 100 messages and be like, oh, well, this doesn't work. You need a real sample size. Crucial. Once you have a real sample size, then you can observe results. You can look at the feedback and form metrics. So for example, for the ad, I might look at the cost per call. All right, one of the most important things that we look at to see if an ad is, going to be successful or not is how much does it cost me to book a call on average? All right, and so I can look at that. And that's the form of the feedback, the metric I'm looking at. So based on that, then I go to the step three, which is iterate. All right, so if there's two scenarios, there's either the ad has a good cost per call, and then from there I would do nothing. I might scale up the ads, but I might just do more, or I might keep it as is, depends on the situation. Or let's say it's a bad cost per call. It's cost me like $500 a call. It's too much. Then I would iterate from there. All right, so I would make an iteration to your initial stimuli. All right, so you iterate the stimuli and you repeat that process 1 through 3. All right, so test, observe, iterate. Like you're just running that over and over again until you find your winner. Once you find your winner, you just milk it and you keep on doing that thing. Don't change it, just milk it, do way more volume. That is a scientific process. That's how you apply it to business. Like this thing will make you so much money, but you must be disciplined. Discipline is the hardest part about this because like as a human, you have emotions and you will get frustrated. You will freak out. You will get impatient. All right, I can give you so many examples of this. Like we had a day where we had 9 sales calls booked for our sales team, and like literally no one showed up. Like it was either no shows, cancellations, rescheduled across the board for everyone. And so naturally I did feel like, what the heck? Like I was a little bit frustrated. I was like, what in the world is this? Because our show rate's definitely it's not that low. Our show rate's historically 70, 80% plus. But I took a step back. I'm like, okay, well, 9 calls, not a valid sample size at all. So let me just be patient. Let me do nothing and just see what happens next. And so what happens, the rest of the month, we finish up, show rate is normal. There's nothing to freak out about. All right, so over a large enough sample size, over a real sample size, it was normal. That's just how data represents itself a lot of times, is in these bunches. And so that's like where you get a batch of no-shows or a batch of 10 calls where no one closes. It can get frustrating if you don't understand statistics, if you don't understand sample size and data. So a huge lesson. But that's a big thing. Like honestly, if you do that, if you actually apply these time age principles, like this is the stuff that works. Like this is the crucial stuff. This is the critical stuff that will grow your business and will work for the rest of human time. You know, I don't make too many videos about like, you know, the shiny like tactics and, you know, hey, just do this exactly, because it changes all the time. It's not really valuable, because if I make a video, it might stop working 3 months from now. All right. And then people will complain like, oh, it doesn't work, man. Like it's all this. And the truth is, like, you just have to apply these principles of scientific method, statistics, human psychology, like all these time age things that actually matter the most. Because if you know that stuff, you can always iterate and you can always win. But if you're just relying on a certain method, a certain platform, a certain, you know, shiny tactic, it's gonna stop working eventually. All right, that is why you see a lot of these, you know, business owners who, you know, ride something, they do really well and they're on top of the world, so that they, you know, increase their living expenses like crazy, they're spending a lot of money. And then all of a sudden something breaks, you know, algorithm change or platform ban or something happens, and then they're just done. They're done for. Like they don't adapt. Like they can never launch a successful business ever again because they don't understand these principles. So, I mean, it's crucial you understand this stuff, because you're gonna end up like that business owner if you don't. Like, you might make it for a short period of time, but when things change, you don't understand how to iterate and how to adapt, you're screwed. And so it's not fun. I used to not know this stuff, and it was all like when I was, you know, having some success, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, but I kind of feel lucky. Like, I don't really know why it's working. And so it's not a good place to be. And so learn this stuff, understand it. If you want to actually like really have like real systems installed into your coaching business, that's exactly what we do. So go ahead and click the link below if you're interested in our offers. You can consistently book sales calls every single day for your coaching business. Click the link below for a full breakdown and pricing on my offer to work together one-on-one to do that. Click the link below if you're interested. If not, thank you so much for watching. You're a legend. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.